spiritual master are the only way by which we get into pure devotional service. I bow down to His lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By His grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and attain mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from His lotus mouth. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord by birth. From Him ecstatic prema emanates, by Him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic of His character, our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor, Lord and Master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, give us the shade of your lotus feet. May our fame be all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Paraya, Krishna Vishnu Vishnu Srimad Bhagavatam, Samadhi Namade Namaste Saraswati Guruvani Brachari Nare Vishnu Krishna Hari Pasha Krishna Harine. You can have me in the Mranga.
Yes.
Thank you. It's 1-8. Okay. You can go.
Okay, we are live.
You can go and tag.
Here's my phone. So okay. Maybe if I take my trail's computer, it's upstairs, right?
I think so. We have to ask him. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Krishna Mataji. We're also streaming on YouTube today. Hare Krishna, Neil. Please kindly tag our friends from the Bliss family. If you remember their names, if you're not impersonalist. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, we have 2 viewers on YouTube. Hare Krishna. Please write a message. Write a comment, and I'm gonna read all the comments. And if you have any questions, also, I will answer at the end. Hare Krishna. Please write Hare Krishna if you're there. Introduce yourself. Okay. Here. Krishna Das. Haribol Krishna Das. Where are you from? We have double platform today, YouTube and Facebook. Yadav Prabhuji. Oh, okay. That's Krishna Mataji on YouTube also. Gangamani. That's a nice name. But there's another devotee. Kartikeya Raju Visyaraju. Kartikeya Raju Visyaraju. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Where you are watching from? And Peter Kirchner. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. How are you? Okay, please tag our friends, especially those that come to the live stream. I can just remember Aradhana, Krishna Dharma, Krishna Dharma Prabhuji. Maitreya Prabhu is engaged in cooking today. He has lots of cooking to do for hungry Prabhus. And have 8 viewers. Okay, let's wait until at least 20 viewers show up. Yes, Prabhu, yeah, more to streaming. That is the future. Well, we have now backup Slovenian Prabhus. They brought more phones, so we can do more. So that's very nice. Yes, Gangamani, she understands. Victoria and Gordana, they're the stalwart viewers. On YouTube it's kind of silent. We don't have so much regularity there on YouTube. You tagging Prabhu?
I'm sharing the groups.
Okay. Okay. Let's chant. Ayurada Madhava Kunjavihari Madhava Kunjavihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayom Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astutar Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astutar Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kura Vaishnavan Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Param Sukho Ghoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadi Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samavetu Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Nidai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Vishnu Bhutri Shmai Bhakti Vedanta Zamane Namane Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Viracharina Nevishi Shishunari Vashchati Shithari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading from the Srimad-Bhagavatam first canto, text 40 from the 8th chapter. Ime Janapadas Viridha
Ime Japadas Verida.
Supako Osadi Vinda.
Supada. I don't have the shlaka Prabhu.
Oh, you don't have that?
No, I have to find it on the database.
Okay.
I will
40.
40.
Text 40.
Yeah. Just a second. Okay, I got it.
Supako? Yeah.
Supakvasadi Virda.
Vanadri Nadi Udanvanto
Vanari Nadi Udanvanto.
Hi Edhanti Taba Vikshitai
Hierante Tava Vikshitai.
Ime,
Ime.
all these.
All these.
Janapada,
Janapada.
cities and towns.
Cities and towns.
Sviridha,
Sviridha,
greatly flourished.
greatly flourished.
Supaka,
Supaka,
mature.
mature.
Osadhi,
Osadi,
herbs.
herbs.
Viruddha,
Viruddha,
vegetables.
vegetables.
Vana,
Vana,
forest.
forest.
Adri,
Adri,
hills.
hills.
Nadi,
Nadi,
rivers.
rivers.
Udanvanto,
Udanvanto,
seas.
seas.
He,
He,
certainly.
certainly.
Edhante,
Edhante,
increasing.
increasing.
Tava,
Tava,
your.
your.
Bhikshitai,
Vikshitai,
seen.
seen.
Translation. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in mature abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The river is full of water. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans are full of wealth. And they are all due to your glance over them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by giving industrial enterprises. Not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of godless civilization, and they are cause for destruction of noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries for squeezing out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly on the exploitative means on other living beings. The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, the rivers full with water, the hill full with jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls and stones. Such natural products are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as He desires, the material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive for lording it over the material nature. This is not possible, and the more we attempt to exploit the material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running on a slaughterhouse and kill the poor animals at the risk of being killed by them again and again? A man cannot kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilize the fields, and there is production more than what we need. The minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate man? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need therefore to become is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord, with an aim to achieve human perfection of life by devotional service. The indications by Queen Kunti Devi, is just on the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that the natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. Om Agyan Nirinandasya Yana Jana Shalakayam Chakshunan Meritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master of the whole world, is very nicely hitting the nail with a hammer on the head. What is the problem here in this world? Why is it so difficult to depend on Krishna? Why is it so difficult to have faith that Krishna will maintain us? And why do we become dependent on this rascal civilization, so-called leaders, nonsense politicians? The natural way of living for the human society is to depend on the gifts of God. These are all gifts of Krishna, and they are bestowed upon us free of charge. Right? There is no charge. There's no price for sunshine. Sunshine is here. Such a huge amount of energy. Sunshine. Everything is working, or everything is growing based on the sunshine. But the sun doesn't ask any price, any charge. Similarly, the nature produces food, but she doesn't take any charge. Doesn't ask any charge. Sorry, the battery is running out. So, why is this? Because these are the gifts of Krishna. Krishna is Janmani Yasayataha, he is the source of everything. That is the real definition of God. That he is the source of everything. And that source is unlimited and ever emanating. Krishna ever emanates his different potencies and energies. So Krishna never runs out of resources. And that is why he can give us all these gifts for free. That we cannot understand. To us it seems illogical that someone could actually unlimitedly supply something. We are accustomed to this relative conditional existence. That if you give me something, then ultimately you're going to run out. So you're going to be in anxiety. Oh, when will my source run out of resources? So, but this is the natural way for the civilization to exist. People should grow grains and vegetables. They should take care of cows. And they should live simply, depending on the gifts of nature, or in other words, depending on the gifts of God. This is the path chalked out by Krishna for the peaceful society. So, unfortunately, the original sin, you can call it like that, of the living entity is that he becomes envious of the Lord. He thinks that the Lord is like himself. Because we're limited, we also start thinking that, oh, God is limited. That creates a paranoia. Oh, maybe Krishna will at one point cut off the supply. So then we start hoarding for the bad times. We have to save up in a bank. And then you have all these industries and stock market and price manipulation and this and that. So this is what creates problems. So our envy begins when we enjoy the property of the Lord. Everyone should give at least 50% of his salary to support the Krishna consciousness movement, because this Krishna consciousness movement is executing the yagya, the Sankirtan yagya. That is you can say a thank you, little thank you to Krishna for giving us everything. As a society, we have this obligation to give thanks to the Lord. Not simply by lip service. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Practically, we must show, dedicating 50% of our salary to support this Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Prabhupada says, if you disobey this order, then you're acting against the order of the spiritual master. In other words, you cannot chant without offenses. Guru Avagya is very serious offense. One of the most serious offenses. Disobeying the order of the spiritual master. The spiritual master doesn't give you any order that you would not be able to fulfill. The spiritual master is the external manifestation of the super soul. Nobody knows you better than the super soul, Krishna, within the heart. Even you yourself, you do not know yourself so good as Krishna knows you. So the super soul comes out externally as the spiritual master. It gives you instructions on how to get out of this material existence altogether and enjoy eternal life with Krishna. We have become so absorbed in this life of sense gratification. We have been entangled. Actually, as soon as this envy comes and we enjoy the property of the Lord artificially, we create our artificial so-called property and our artificial plans. We become so covered, so illusioned, that when the Krishna consciousness movement is presented to us, we feel, oh, it is something foreign. Oh, they're imposing on me. They're trying to manipulate me. Blind man thinks everyone else is blind. We all have this envy towards the Krishna. What is that envy? We think of Krishna as ourselves. Because I'm a rascal, I'm also suspicious. Maybe Krishna is a rascal also. He's going to exploit me. So this is called Maya. This is how Maya works. Very difficult to get out of Maya. Now, we ourselves, due to our envious attitude, we're putting ourselves into Maya. So, and because we're so much entangled, of course, when people reject the natural gifts of nature, they build up this industry so they can hoard many things and manipulate the market and exploit the innocent people. Prabhupada talks about a few unfortunate men. They have to work very hard, kill themselves at work, just so the others they can enjoy sense gratification. They do not enjoy. They're in illusion. They're completely controlled by lust. They're building up big things, big properties, big things for nothing, just to satisfy their illusory idea that I am God. You see, and the other people, the workers, they have to work very hard. Ugra karma. Ugra karma is a work that is prescribed for the asses, for the animals. That work actually kills the fine sentiments of a human being. He is not able to comprehend spiritual life because so much he has abused himself by this troublesome work, industry, factory, like that. I have heard that in this Amazon, this Amazon, this company, the workers, they're working so hard that they cannot even go to the toilet. They cannot even go to the toilets. It takes them too much time to get to the toilet. The break is 2 minutes, and it takes them 3 minutes to reach the toilet. It's very, very, so you must rush like crazy. You must run. You must go to gym. To work at Amazon, you have to take some extra gym classes so you can survive in that so very competitive environment. You see, this is how it works. You have one problem, and that creates another problem, that creates another problem, and all you're doing your whole life is trying to solve these problems. And the more you try to solve them, more problems are increasing. And then we come and we say, chant Hare Krishna, you nonsense, and give donation. And they say, I have no time. Because I have to serve illusion. You see? So, if we surrender to Krishna, sarvadharma parityajya, mamikam saranam rajam, am tvam sarvapa. Krishna, with one stroke, he liberates us from all this nonsense. Why? Because Krishna is supplying all these resources. As soon as Krishna cuts off the supply, what is his name? Mr. Bezos is finished. Now he's very satisfied, he's very happy. But when Krishna cuts his heart vein, immediately it's finished. Mr. Bezos is finished. So this is very foolish to think that, I am a very important personality. I am possessing this. I can do so many things. You can't do anything. See, now that rascal, he went to space. Did you hear this?
Supposedly,
yeah. Supposedly. Who knows where maybe they think that Arizona desert is called space. Who knows where he went. But somehow or other, he is trying to do the impossible. He's desperate. So much money he has and no Krishna consciousness. So he's like a Hiranyakashipu. He's trying to do this, he's trying to do that, and he's never satisfied with anything. So similarly, we become so much absorbed in these material problems and material attachments that we think 50 years from now on, we think, how will the world go on? This demonic government and demonic this and that, the leaders, they will destroy this world. That is so illusion. Our life is so short, very short, like an ant. Like there's so many ants sometimes, they sometimes jump into the honey and they die of intoxication. So nobody cares, right? It's just insignificant ants. If Dabur Prabhu dies all of a sudden, that would be a great tragedy. We would freak out. We would cry. But a small ant is insignificant. But actually we're small ants compared to Krishna and the spiritual world. Even when you take proportionally the size of this planet, we're insignificant tiny little insects. And we think, this is a very important problem. How will the society work? How will the society work? How will the world go on? How the government will control people? How will get chipped? And so many things, right? So this is unnecessary. In one stroke, you can be dead at any time. Save your time, practice Krishna consciousness. So at the time of death, you can think of Krishna. This is important. These problems we cannot solve. Because ultimately the root problem is the people are envious of Krishna. There's the envious. And because they're envious, they want sense gratification. This is how it begins. I could give donation to Krishna, but at least I enjoy myself. This is how it begins. The sense gratification. And then it extends further and further and further until we have a society that is completely disconnected from natural way of living. This is the beginning. People are trying to solve climate change, the environmental crisis, the pollution, and vegan, right? We have to be vegans and so many things they're proposing. But rest assured, none of these plans have any meaning because the root cause is the envy to Krishna. And that can only be resolved by this Krishna consciousness movement. It can be dissolved. It can be resolved by dissolving that envy. Resolved by dissolve. So this is why we're chanting Hare Krishna. We're asking Krishna to engage us in service. Oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. So when you chant sincerely, Krishna hears your prayer and he sends the devotees. And the devotees, they come, yes, please help us. So that is the manifestation of Krishna. When devotees come to you to ask for help, then it's Krishna asking for help. Just like he did in the Krishna book, you can read when the when the Brahmanas in the village were performing yajna. Krishna sent Balaram and the coward boys to ask donation. It was Krishna, he sent them. And the Brahmanas were so much engaged in their yajna, so foolish. They were performing yajna, I don't know if for Indra but ultimately the supreme enjoyer of all yajnas is Krishna. Yajna. Vogaram yajna tapasam, bhaktaram yajna tapasam, sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna says, I am the enjoyer of all yajnas. So, when Krishna himself came, represented by the devotees, the Brahmanas wouldn't even look at them. They would ignore them. What is nonsense? Just like sometimes we see that the donation post comes on the Bliss family, donation request, just giving request, and we do not even write a comment. We just ignore. Oh, this is not for me. I am serving Krishna in so many different ways. By speculation mainly. So they also ignored. They wouldn't even look at them. And when the coward boys came back to Krishna, Krishna was laughing. Don't worry. This is natural. When one is begging, he will very often face insults. So if someone is ignoring you, that is a form of insult, right? You ask for help, but he doesn't even look at you. You're insignificant. Sometimes it hurts more than if someone tells you, you're a fool, you're a rascal. It tells you a reason why he doesn't want to help you. So then at least you know. But if someone ignores, that is very, very painful. These impersonalists, pretty much everyone, they do not explain why they don't want to serve Krishna. They just ignore. They just run away. When Prabhupada comes and challenges, what is the difficulty? They run away. They don't want to deal with it because then there is no answer to this question. There is no difficulty. The only difficulty is you. That is the only difficulty that is restricting you from going to Goloka Vrindavan and embrace Krishna. You are the only obstacle. So this chanting is so powerful that even we might have this envious mentality by chanting Hare Krishna under the guidance of the Guru, avoiding offenses by disobeying the order of the Guru, by committing sinful activities on the strength of thinking that I'm a devotee, I can do anything. That chanting will purify that envious mentality. And that is why we always emphasize, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. The envious mentality will be dissolved. We have been hypnotized by this Maya. Just like someone is hypnotized, a snake sometimes becomes hypnotized by the flute, or mantra chanter. So we're also hypnotized by Maya. And this Hare Krishna, it cuts through the spell. It cuts you through the spell. And you start to remember your original duty. Oh, I have to serve Krishna. This is my duty. It's not that the Krishna needs your help. Nor the devotees need your help. Devotees are always protected by Krishna. And all their necessities are supplied by Krishna. But if you do not render your service, if you do not do your duty, then you will lose your Krishna consciousness, and that is the greatest loss. That is worse than dying. Because dying, Krishna says, whoever dies is born again. You don't have to be afraid to die. Because the body you will get next. As long as you are not purified, you must get another material body. So body you will have. Your family you will have. In the future life you have another set of family. Another set of father, mother, grandfather, aunt, and whatever. But Krishna consciousness is not a guarantee. If you make offenses, if you do not take advantage of the opportunity, Krishna is giving you the opportunity. The spiritual master is giving you the opportunity. The analogy is given that the conditioned soul has fallen into a ditch, and the spiritual master, he throws a rope into the ditch. So then the rope comes. The only thing you have to do is grab it. Grab it very tightly. Follow the rules and regulations. What the spiritual master said, all his instructions, giving donations to the devotees who are in need. You have to do it very tightly. And then the Guru, he pulls you out. You don't have to do anything. This is another type of foolishness, that I have to do everything. I'm very, I'm controlling everything. I have great responsibility. In Krishna consciousness, you don't have to do anything. Krishna will do it for you. That is the meaning, that is the purport of the shloka. Rashikena Rashikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Krishna is the controller of the senses. Rashikesha, he controls the senses of a devotee. He controls the intelligence of a devotee. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam buddhi yogam naramitam yenamam upayantite. Buddhi yogam dana, I give them the buddhi, I give them the intelligence, how they can come to me. Actually, Krishna is in charge of the intelligence. If you want to be a rascal, then Krishna will give you the intelligence, how to make demoniac industry and enslave people in Maya. And if you want to be a devotee, then Krishna will give you the proper intelligence. Everything is controlled by Krishna. Krishna will supply your necessities, He will give you prasadam, He will give you cloth, He will give you shelter, everything. Everything He will supply. But you must surrender, you must do your duty. Don't plan anything extra. That is why we have to become familiarized with the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and act accordingly. We cannot speculate. That is why the reading, that is why the study is important. We must study mainly the instructions of the Guru. Those who are studying the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam without the guidance of a bona fide Guru, or they're being guided by some rascal who is twisting the teachings, they cannot act anukulena Krishna Nushilanam. They cannot act favorably in Krishna consciousness. And that's why Krishna doesn't take care of them. They fall down. They again must engage in material activities. And Krishna doesn't care for them because they're not pleasing. Their service is not pleasing. It is mixed with a material motive. So for any material motive, you have to work hard. You must be put into this illusion that, you have to do so many things. And the more you try to do, the more duties increase, the more responsibility increases, the more debts increase, like that. So Krishna consciousness is so nice. Everyone can be satisfied by this Krishna consciousness movement. Everyone, the whole society can be arranged very scientifically, based on God consciousness, depending on Krishna, not industry, money, and nonsense ideas. Depend on Krishna. By the performance of yajna, all the necessities are supplied by Krishna. That we can see practically. It is not a belief. It is not a fanaticism. We can see that in the lives of the devotees. Those who are dedicated 100%, all their necessities are supplied 100%. So this is science. If you observe and if you experiment yourself, if you experiment, you dedicate your life to Krishna, you will see also. In the scientific method, if you want to prove any phenomenon, any theory, it must be demonstratable and it must be repeatable. So it is repeatable. If you apply this process Srila Prabhupada has given us, then you can have the same benefit. You can feel the same benefit. You can observe in your own life. So why not do it? Why be hesitant? Because we're so much devoted to these nonsense ideas. We're so much attached to these nonsense atheistic theories. We don't even know how much. So that is why we have to chant, to unbrainwash ourselves, to liberate our mind from all these confused ideas. It's a confused culture. There are confused relationships we have. It's a confused society. It's a confused philosophy. And it's a confused religion. Everything is confused. Everything is polluted. All these have their origin in Krishna. But when the material motive, when the end comes, they all become polluted. So this Krishna consciousness is like the antiseptic agent. Sometimes you put the chemical in the water and the water becomes purified. So it is like that. So let us take as much of this Krishna disinfecting agent as possible by chanting Hare Krishna. This is the only thing that can help us. And disassociate from this nonsense so-called society. And mainly the philosophies, the nonsense philosophies, preached by rascals, conditioned souls who are simply speculating. Dedicate your sense of hearing to Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee. Hear as much as possible. Don't waste time. Why are you wasting time with so many nonsense things? Family engagements and sense gratification and politics. Don't waste your time. Your day has 18 hours. If you take 6 hours sleep, you have 18 hours left. So if you fill it up with hearing, and of course serving, but mainly hearing, because unless we hear, we cannot serve properly, cannot be anukulina. If we hear properly, and in this life we go back to Godhead. Who doesn't want this? We must be very clear on the process, how the process works. It doesn't work Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and by some sentiment, Krishna will take you back to Godhead. No. You must know very scientifically what is the process, and you must apply the process. You must surrender. You must do your part. Krishna will not do it for you. You must do it. You must make a risk for Krishna. This is very important. We're already in a very precarious, very dangerous position. We don't realize, but actually it's very dangerous. At any point, the government can turn off the electricity, they can do anything they want, just like we are seeing already now. All of a sudden, they lock everything, lock everyone down. You cannot go out on the street. Who could have thought 5 years ago, 3 years ago, who could have thought that this is possible? But it is possible, and they can do worse things than that. And they will do worse things, because this is the nature of lust and greed and envy to Krishna. The demoniac qualities are simply increasing and increasing and increasing. Don't think that it will be better. Now, without Krishna, there's only deterioration. Just like you see this body. The spirit soul is a part and parcel of Krishna. When the spirit soul leaves the body, what happens to the body? It deteriorates. So, similarly, a society where there is no Krishna consciousness must deteriorate by default. It's an automatic progression. So we're already in a very dangerous position. Very dangerous position. So if you're in a dangerous position, and if you think that surrendering to Krishna is also a dangerous position, then why not choose Krishna? At least you have some stability he is the Supreme Lord. At least there's some benefit in that danger. But what is the benefit in danger in this nonsense society and fighting for the nonsense so-called body, for the life of the body that is going to die anyway? What is the benefit in that, taking that sort of danger? So we must pick priority, we must be intelligent. Human form of life means discrimination. I must have clear discrimination. This is good and this is not so good. This is discrimination. Nowadays they try to merge. There is no good, there is no bad. There is no religion, there is no irreligion. There is no bona fide spiritual master, there is no bogus spiritual master. It's all one. Love everyone. This is the nonsense philosophy of pigs. A pig doesn't have any discrimination. He loves everything. Stool, halava. Halava actually he doesn't like. But any type of stool he will take very nicely. He eats everything, the pig. So we should not be like pigs. We should clearly discriminate. This person is speaking something that is against what Srila Prabhupada says. I reject him. I don't hear from him. He's useless. Asara. Useless person. Poison. Kick out. This person claims that he is Krishna, is God. Immediately. Asara. Nityananda's Swami, whatever his name is. Asara. Kick out. Leave him. Don't even talk about it. The other day I said, you remember? Don't even you. Nesh Prabhu, he wanted to discuss the pastimes of this rascal. So I said, no need. Even criticizing. Prabhupada says, just like a skunk. You know this animal, skunk? Yeah. So if you touch this, if you want to remove as a skunk and you want to touch him, you're going to get smelly. Right? So you don't even touch. When someone throws the skunk at you, then you take a baseball bat and you kick him out like that. Similarly, when these rascals come to us, we shall defeat them. But we don't even want to touch the nonsense so-called personalities. They're so bogus. So, okay, I'll stop here. Are there any questions?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I was wondering, let's say the world does become Krishna conscious. How will the industry be set then? Because a lot of these factories will probably close down, but some is still needed, right? We can't just, especially for the age of Kali.
Shut down everything.
Everything.
Everything's shut down.
But what about like the plates that we use right now, or
the plates you can get from leaves, banana leaves.
Right.
See, this is scientific.
Very nice.
You eat, then you put it in a forest. Immediately, no plastic, no problem with garbage.
Yeah, compost, everything.
Yeah.
But then everything would have to be changed, like even the houses.
Everything changed. The Prabhupada said this movement is to revolutionize the whole society.
Wow.
It's a revolution, spiritual revolution. Everything must be completely revised. And it starts with your personal life, If you're taking sense gratification, if you engage in so many unnecessary ways, then you cannot change the society. What is the need of this industry? There's no need to make plates and things like that. What is important is food.
Yeah.
What you put on the plate, that is important.
Originally the industry started for food. They
Yeah.
were to grow more and more, but then they saw, oh, this is useful, let us apply other areas.
Yeah, that's called envy.
Yes.
Ishavasya vidam saram yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bunjidamagadatasya sviranam. Everyone has his quota. Krishna has given everyone a quota. So a Vaishnava devotee, when a snake is in his house, he will feed the snake.
Wow.
He will feed the snake because he's also part and parcel of Krishna. He also deserves. This mudha idea that I work very hard, so why should I give anything to anyone? This is envy. This is envy to Krishna. You have not worked anything. Krishna has given you the material elements. He is giving you the brain to manipulate the material elements. And He's giving you the results. And He's giving you the senses by which you can enjoy the result. So what is your accomplishment? You have not worked anything. Everything is done by Krishna. But due to false ego, you think, I have worked, why should I give? It's mine.
Right.
And that's why you have to take birth again as a punishment.
So because actually everything is happening because of the influence of the moods in material nature.
Yes,
Right. That's
everything. You can't even control your mind.
yeah.
The mind is going blah, 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 blah. And you're acting on the dictation of the mind. The mind's blah, 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 blah. You go, you do things according to the mind, like a robot. But people think that, oh, I'm doing everything very nicely. I have done this, I have done that. So there's quite a discussion, as usual, when the class is controversial. No, I have it here.
That's good.
Okay, Krishna Mataji says she will give whole salary to Krishna if she gets a job. Yeah, that's a real sannyas. Okay, Yadav Prabhu says, the whole culture is now like that. Your work becomes your identity. Working hard for money and all kinds of stuff is the new goal. People brag about how hard they are working. God is nowhere in sight. Yeah. And Gordana Mataji reacts, but you can't escape it. I have had to work this time with a broken toe because I have to pay rent. No, you can escape it, but you have to do work for Krishna. Also, we're not escapists. We don't escape from hard work. We work harder than anyone. It's not a joke. You can ask Prabhus how hard they must work the whole day for Krishna. But that work is pleasurable because it's for Krishna, it's meaningful, and it's for the future life also. Not simply to enjoy some, ephemeral sense gratification and then go. Okay, Melanie. He's asking a question. How are we to understand that the Sankirtan movement is bringing about the golden age when the world situation appears to become more and more fearful and degraded? Yeah, well, that's a good question. But, we should start thinking like this. What is that golden age? What is that Sankirtan movement? Who is that? Who is that Sankirtan movement? Who is that? Some Sankirtan movement will come from Goloka Vrindavan?
That's us.
It's us. We are the Sankirtan movement. You are the Sankirtan movement. Because you know about Srila Prabhupada, you are a devotee. So this is your duty. Lord Chaitanya left, Srila Prabhupada left. Why did they leave? Huh? Krishna could have sent another successor of Srila Prabhupada, right? Another, bhakti could come, right? But he didn't. Why? Because this is the time when we have to become pure devotees. Otherwise it's not going to happen. Even Lord Chaitanya says, I am one only, I need helpers. Lord Chaitanya says, I am only one person. I need more help. I need devotees to help me in my mission. So, it requires a massive, it's going to be a massive, it's going to be like a avalanche of pure devotees, not just one, but many, many thousands of Mahabhagavats will appear. How? By reading Prabhupada's books, by coming to the stage of pure devotion, by the process Srila Prabhupada has given us. So you're one of them. You are the Sankirtan movement. Think like that. Don't think that, oh, I will wait, and when it's favorable, then I will join, and I will ride the wave. That is not so. Of course, that is also good, but yes, maybe you will never, you will never see such a Sankirtan movement. That's another thing. You might leave your body, you will never actually, even the Sankirtan movement, the yugas and so on, has a material limitation, right? The Sankirtan movement, what is the purpose of the Sankirtan movement? So we revive our original Krishna consciousness, and we go back home, back to Godhead. So, yeah. Don't wait, but act now. What you can do now, do it now. Don't wait until, something happens. Yeah.
And if we all just say, oh, I'll wait,
Yeah.
then nobody's gonna start.
Yeah, everyone is waiting. What about the Sankirtan movement? Where is it? Where? Please, So, but we're supposed to do it. And it's very simple. We go out, we chant, we organize festivals. We have a festival here every Sunday, so you can visit us. Why don't you visit us? You live here in London, so you can visit us. This is Sankirtan movement. This is the golden age. Okay. Peter is asking, but is PC not tool for spreading Krishna? It's industry outcome as well. Yeah, that is the usual attack. That you're using a dictaphone, using this, and at the same time you condemn. We do not condemn, but materially speaking, these things are not required. If you just see it from a bigger picture, actually Prabhupada, he says that although we say externally that we can dovetail the technology, this is just the preaching tactics. Actually, we want to kick out all these things because it's not necessary, right? So for the time being, we use the PC and we use the cell phone to tell you to kick out the cell phone and to kick out the, just like you have a thorn in your skin. So you take another thorn and you remove it, right? So anyway, this is just on a large scale. I'm not saying that right now you have to throw away the computer. I mean, how will we associate? But we should, we should have the vision. What is the purpose of this movement? To liberate people from this nonsense, demoniac, industrial society. And this is the way. We have to preach, first of all. We have to convince people. They're not going to give up their football and their cell phones. And if we're not strong, if we not give them the higher taste, the Krishna consciousness movement must be a very powerful movement. So everyone must join. If we hear the four of us, and we always ask, please give donation, because we're always running out of Lakshmi. We have no Lakshmi to pay the temple where the Hare Krishna movement is being preserved. Then who's gonna feel attracted? The masses will think this is some kind of a nonsense. Even the members of the Hare Krishna, even they do not support. So what to speak of us, right? So we must show by example how to do it, how to support, how to. If you want to join, if you can join full time, wonderful. If you cannot join, help with the money. Everyone's help is appreciated. Okay, Alex says, I get a salary from Govindas. I'm Shudra when I work, but when stay out there, I go to street and distribute book without Vaishnava dress. I hope it's normal. Yeah, very good. First class. Oh, you ask a question? You ask.
No.
How come? This is an ace.
Oh. Then maybe it's Machaya.
Ah, okay. Maitreya is asking from the upstairs. In one instance, we say that Krishna will do everything. He is the controller of the senses, but in another instance, we say that Krishna won't do things for you. You have to take initiative. So how to understand this? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, seems a little contradictory, but you never lose your initiative. You never lose your free will. You can decide, either you are controlled by Krishna or you are controlled by Maya. That choice you always have. So when you have the desire to serve Krishna, then Krishna takes charge. And if you want to serve Maya, then Maya will take charge. And what is that Maya? When Maya takes charge, you don't give any credit to Krishna. That is Maya. And you think that I'm doing everything. See? In Krishna consciousness, it's not that Krishna is doing everything and I do nothing. No, you do, but in cooperation with Krishna. Krishna helps you. Actually, Krishna becomes your servant. If you want to preach Krishna consciousness, Krishna will assist you. Just like Srila Prabhupada. Krishna assisted Srila Prabhupada very nicely and is still assisting. How is it possible? A religious book that is teaching about gods, sold in billions all around the world. How is it possible? These Christians, they're pushing the Bible for free. Take it. They stuck in the hotels, in a hotel room, you know. You're going to brush your teeth and you pull, oh, Bible. Comes out like a monster. Wow. But Srila Prabhupada's book is in billions, sold by billions. So this is the mercy of Krishna. Krishna arranged like that. Very nicely for his mission. So Krishna cooperates. It's mutual. But we think that I am the only doer. I do everything. That is Maya. And then yes, you have to do everything. You have to grow your own food, like they manufacture now fake meat and things like that. See how foolish that is.
Crickets.
Yeah. Okay, so
I have a question.
yes, that way. Go ahead.
Let's say that some person works on a job that is really taking a toll on his life, like he's draining his energy.
Yeah, that is
Really
Ugra karma.
He
Yeah.
doesn't like it, yeah. But maybe he has a temple in which he could invest this Lakshmi.
Mm-hmm.
But would in a case that he would like to change the job, would that be a renunciation in the mode of passion, because that money would be useful for the temple?
Yeah, that is actually stated in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that person, for him, it's better to endure and send the Lakshmi 50% to the temple.
Yeah.
And in that way, he will also by Krishna's mercy maybe be easier for him to tolerate the efforts.
Yes. See, all of this we're discussing the material state of affairs in this world. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Whether there's demonic government spying on everyone and chipping everyone, it doesn't matter. Or whether we have nice, wonderful varnashram, people are growing food and cows. It doesn't matter, because you have to die. This is not where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to go back home, back to Godhead. But in order to preach to the general mass, and also to understand this rotten mentality of atheism, this is also preached in the Shastra and by the Acharyas. We're not ignoring, we're not escaping the world. Krishna has given a very nice instruction of how to live peacefully in this world and going back home in the next life. But ultimately, Krishna consciousness doesn't depend on anything material, so you can reach perfection in any circumstance. Right? Just like we have here, it's a basement, it's not so wonderful, but we have a nice time here doing kirtans for Krishna. It is better than big, ISKCON temple with billions of nonsense people who are worshipping bogus rascals. True or not?
Absolutely.
What? It is an open secret. Everybody knows. All right. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank Gora Premanandi. Hari Hari Haribo. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutri Srimad-Bhagavatam Vedanta Samrita Namani Namaste Saraswati Guruvani Prachari Nandi Vishi Shishwari Prachari Vishnu Haride. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhus. Have a nice day. Krishna. How about YouTube? Oh, 2 viewers, 4 lakhs. Yeah. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Oh, someone as well.
Open secret law. Oh, there's actually a question on YouTube, Prabhu. Netza Keter asks, does our independence get stolen / covered by the modes of material nature?
Does our independence get stolen? Yeah, it is stolen, but that independence also is, it cannot, the independence can never be removed from the spirit soul, because that is, it's kind of like it's the nature of the spirit soul to be independent. Like you have a heat and fire, they're inseparable. So although it is covered in the material world, it can be again revived, and that is, through this chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and through hearing from a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, for example, that can be revived, that independence. So it is not lost. But if we choose, it's kind of like people who take intoxication, right? Voluntarily they lose their freedom. Voluntarily, like people who are addicted to substances, they lose their freedom. The drug is completely lives. But at the same time, at any point, they can decide, oh, I don't want to take this drug anymore. I want to go to a rehab, right? So then they can revive their independence. Achinta, Veda Veda Tattva.
Right, so it's like it's only useful, the part of the body is only useful when it's attached. The part of the body, like the finger, it's only useful when it's attached to the whole body.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay. Okay, Netza Keter, Prabhu or Mataji, I hope that was a nice answer. You can always visit us on Facebook. Yeah, nice question also. You can visit us on Facebook, Expand the Bliss London, and you can ask
There's another one.
Any questions.
Silas. Is it okay to take the vaccine COVID?
Live stream this?
I don't know. Huh?
Oh, sorry, you.
It's on YouTube. Getting some questions now.
Yeah, I don't know, Prabhu. This is really difficult. I have not taken it, and it's very difficult for me to understand what is going on. Prabhupada said few things, how they're not after the vaccine, people using this pretext as a vaccine. So Prabhupada warned against that. He also mentioned this, you can read on the expandabliss.com, there's an article about the viruses. Prabhupada says that the virus theory is also bogus. But at the same time, Prabhupada took a Hong Kong flu shot in LA in the 60s. And he said that what can be done, you have to take what can be done. I don't think it's very important. I don't think it's a very important issue. Even if there's a poison in the vaccine and you have to take it. Chant Hare Krishna. Ultimately, we have to die anyway. I don't think we should tax our brains too much with this. So just continue your Krishna consciousness and don't get too much sucked by this. Don't get your mind sucked by these issues. If Krishna wants to kill you, he's going to kill you. No one can save you. If Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you. Just depend on Krishna.
Alright. Jai, come to Expand the Bliss London on Facebook and we'll see you there. Oh, there's another.
There's another one.
Yeah, Netza is asking also. So, in a way, we have to learn how to use properly our independence again.
Exactly. Yes, we have forgotten what is our self. We don't know who we are. We're acting just like in a theater, like actors. We're acting a certain designation, a certain upadi. I'm a man, I'm a woman, and this and that. And we think this is my independence to act But when we realize our true identity as servants of Krishna, then the real independence manifests, and we can use our independence in serving independently, through our independence, bringing varieties of services to Krishna according to our independence and freedom. That is why Krishna consciousness is so blissful, because we can use our independence in serving Him. Hansadutta Prabhu, he said that Srila Prabhupada is not like a dictator type of a guru, that he would micromanage everything. He would tell disciples, you do this, you do that, you do the. Srila Prabhupada would preach the philosophy, and when devotees would get inspired from within to serve Krishna in a particular way, and then they would come and approach Prabhupada with that idea, and Prabhupada would just say, okay, this is good, maybe you can improve like this. He would approve or a little bit adjust, and that's how the movement spreads. This is how Srila Prabhupada is preaching. He doesn't control the devotees. He's inspiring devotees. That is a huge difference. That's why he's a bona fide spiritual master. Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Bruce, thank you for watching.
Come again.
But there's another one.
I don't think so.
Yeah. But sometimes, although we know that we are part and parcels of Krishna, we still misuse our independence. What can we do then? We should associate with the devotees. Sometimes, even against your will, you act in a nonsense way. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is asking, what is that force that is making us do things even against our own will? But then Krishna explains that it is lust only, the all sinful enemy of the world. This lust is, in its original state, our pure love for Krishna. But in the association, it acts pervertedly. See, in a bad association, you become bad. So if you change your association, if you associate with the devotees, that very same lust that we might have can be purified or dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. So everything is in the association. The secret is the association of devotees.
Okay. I think that's it, right?
This eternal discussion.
Yeah. Devotees are the heart of this movement. Absolutely. Yes, well. Prabhupada.
Where are you from, Neta? Neta, are you a Mataji or a Prabhu? You have some nice questions. Very nice.
It's a shock. You know this, Netsa?
It's a shlak.
Mataji.
Mataji, very
Okay,
nice.
where are you from? Which country? If you do not mind revealing.
Slovenia.
You mean Neja, Prabhu? Neja?
Neja.
Isla? Oh, she's such a rascal.
I know.
Number
Peru. Wow,
one. Wow, very nice.
very nice.
So, are you following us on Facebook? You should do that. We have daily Srimad-Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita live streams, but probably only also on YouTube then. If people are appreciating on YouTube, we can also stream to YouTube. That's nice also.
We also have lots of content on this channel, so you can see some of the previous classes, because I'm answering many of the questions that you asked today in the other classes and podcasts, so don't hesitate to check it out. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.